Anthropic just dropped the official Chrome extension for Claude Code, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how to quickly set that up inside of Claude Code and why that is so important for any of us who use Claude Code as our co-writer. All right, so in other words, your co-writer now gets eyes and now has direct access to your browser with this Chrome integration. All right. Now, how this works is it's getting direct browser control now. We don't have to deal with extra MCPs or workarounds, which you would have had to do before if you wanted to give access, if you wanted to give Claude Code access to your browser. But now we can do this directly. It's a lot easier. And it makes a big difference now from the before and after. So before, if you wanted to give your co-writer or Claude Code access to your browser, it would be, you would be using a couple different separate tools or just workflows. For example, what I would do oftentimes is I would have to screenshot things on my browser, drop it into Claude Code, and work with it that way. But now we don't really need to do that anymore. We can open it up here side by side like you can see that I'm doing now, and we can give it direct access so it can see everything we are seeing in our browser without having to deal with all this different copy and pasting that we might have had to do before, right? Now, to set this up, it's actually super simple. It's one of the easier things you can set up on Claude Code. We're just going to have to run a couple things. The first thing we're going to do is go to claude.com/Chrome, their official announcement page for this extension. And you're going to see here that they talk about what you can do with it. Prior to this new release in Claude Code, you are already able to get this in your regular Chrome extension, and you can do things like interact with your Google Calendar or run background tasks and even schedule daily workflows right in your browser with this Claude agent, basically this Claude browser agent. But today we're just talking about, mostly talking about Claude Code. So you're going to come here and you're going to click add to Chrome if you don't have it already. And it's going to take you to the official Chrome store, extension store, where you're going to add this. And once you do, it's going to be available here in your extensions. Okay. Now you're going to click this, and what it's going to open up here is you can see that Claude Code or the Claude Chrome extension is now open, and you're going to see these orange tabs here where you have the Claude name and you have this orange highlight. This is called a tab group, all right? And what this means is everything you see highlighted in this group here of tabs, this is what Claude is restricted to. This is where Claude is active. So for example, right now you see this Chrome window open here, this Chrome tab, and this is the only one that Claude has access to right now. All these other ones that you see that I have open that don't have the orange highlight, these are not in the tab group. So Claude is not accessing these right now. If you want to access it, you just, for example, I have this Substack page of mine. I would just drag it into the tab group, and now you can see that it's orange, so it is now accessible by Claude in this tab group, all right? And same thing, you can drag it out. So once you're in here, before we even look at Claude Code, just to, if you're not familiar with this at all, because only some people had access to it before, this was already available, and this right here is basically this has nothing to do with Claude Code. This is just the regular Chrome extension that opens up this side panel here, and you can interact directly in your browser with it. You can choose your model, you can ask it questions, and it's like a direct panel right inside of your browser. But that's not what we're going to be using today, so we're going to close that out. So now we're going to talk about how to get it inside of your Claude Code system or your co-writer. And what you're going to do here is on the right side, you can see I have my code editor open. I'm using VS Code, but you can be using whatever, maybe use Cursor. But I use VS Code because what we can do here with any of these code editors is open up all of our folders here on the left, and I can see my full system here. And it just makes everything a lot easier. I'm going to minimize that for now because I don't need it. Fresh terminal without Claude Code, just a fresh terminal, and you're going to need to do a couple things first. The first is you're going to need to run a Claude update in case it's not updated. So you're just going to type out Claude update in your terminal, enter. It's going to check for the current version. You should be up to date with 2.0.73 at the time of this video, and we know we're good now. Now after that, you need to launch Claude in your terminal. So just by typing Claude, we have Claude launched. Let me zoom in a little bit here. And now we have Claude Code running in our terminal, and we're going to do /Chrome. When you do /Chrome, it's already set up. You're going to run that, and you can see that it's here. So we have Claude in Chrome works with the Chrome extension to let you control your browser directly from Claude Code, navigate websites, fill forms, capture screenshots, record GIFs, and debug with console logs and network requests. Now you need to make sure that the status is enabled and the extension is installed. So to do that, you might have to first click this reconnect extension, and it will enable everything. Now, once you have it, it's already enabled, and you can manage the permissions here. So if you click enter for manage permissions, it's going to open up this tab here on the left. And what you can see here is we have all of our Claude Code Chrome extension permissions, right? Or just Claude in Chrome settings. We can enable notifications, so it'll tell us when things are complete. We can also give it microphone access. And what this will allow you to do is there's this new feature in the regular Chrome extension where you can record a workflow that you're doing and speak into the dictation, and you can document this workflow for Claude to understand. All right. And then also you're going to have your approved sites here. You can see I've already been working on like Tally and Substack and my own website. You can revoke access to these at any point. These are the only sites that it has access to. And every time you access a new site, it's going to ask for permission. All right. And you're going to see how that works. We can close those settings out for now. We don't need that. But what we want to do now is just show you a couple ways that I've been using this. So what can you actually do? I'm going to give you 3 examples. This is pretty new, and I've been trying out new things. I do want to mention that it doesn't work 100% perfect. It's pretty slow, but it's getting better. It's a lot better than it was a couple months ago when I tried it on the regular extension. And it's really just at this point good for running background tasks or things that you don't, that are pretty easy, that you don't really need to waste time doing, and you can let it do it. But we're going to talk about some cool things. So there's 3 things I've done over the past day or so in my own writing system. The first was I've been using it to track analytics on my Substack page, which I'm going to show you here. And the reason for that is because Substack doesn't have an API. So unlike these other platforms, other newsletter platforms or other, let's say, social media platforms like LinkedIn or X, Substack doesn't have an API. So it's very difficult to track all of your stats. You kind of have to do it manually. I track it all in an Airtable. But now what I can do is give Claude Code or my co-writer access to my Substack to basically track all these analytics. So that's the first way I've been using it. The second way is I've been using it to fill out surveys. So on my own website here, where I just launched my custom writing systems that you can apply for, I needed to fill out a survey for potential clients and people who were interested in doing this. So if you click here, you're going to see I have a survey here, a co-writer application, and I literally used Claude Code last night to my co-writer to build this. So we planned it out inside of my in my code editor with Claude Code, and then I had it access and actually put together the application on Tally, which is just a website for easily creating forms, right? That's the second way I used it. And then the third way is doing visual analysis. So I've asked it to go on like YouTube pages of people's thumbnails, also asked it for my landing page, which I'm going to show you right now, to give a visual analysis of everything on there without having to really have it access like the HTML or take screenshots or anything like that. So that's a really good use case as well. You can analyze thumbnails, study competitor pages, debug your own sites, right? But enough of that. Let me just show you a couple ways now that I was using it. So we're going to open up a new Claude Code session here. And the first thing I did, which you can see here, which I'm going to rerun here, is look at my Substack notes. So here on Substack, we have my Substack notes. For people who aren't familiar with Substack, it's just like any other social media. I have my Substack notes here, and I have my, whole list of them with likes and comments and all of that. But there's no real easy way of pulling all that. So now what I'm going to do is tell it to, review all of that and track it. But before I tell it, a couple important points is you should always make sure to tell it to use the Chrome extension right now, because I found that if you don't, it doesn't really know that autonomously to use it. And second, you should definitely drop the link of whatever page you want it to access, so you don't have to, you're not making Claude go do all the work to trying to find what you're talking about, and instead you just give it direct access to the page you're looking at. So here's what we're going to tell it. We're going to tell it, take a look at my last 10 Substack notes, find out what is working, what is not, and track the analytics. use your Chrome extension to do this. And then just drop the link in there, and then we're just going to let it do its work. So what it should do now is open up a tab group, ask us for our permission, and start doing the work there. So we're going to see what it does. First, it reads my context profiles in my system, and then there it goes, opening up the new tab that you can see here, and it's going to start navigating all by itself. All right, so after a second or two, it navigated to the page I told it to. And now on the left side of the screen, what you're looking at is Claude Code controlling my browser, right? And here on the right side in my code editor, you can see it made a to-do list. So it's going to navigate to my Substack profile and find my notes, review the last 10 notes and metrics, identify patterns in what's working and what's not, and then document findings with actionable insights. So it's doing that. Now, an important point is don't touch the screen that it's working on. So like here on the left side here, you can see that it's working here on my Substack. Don't start scrolling or clicking on anything, because I found that just like screws everything up, or at least slows it down, because Claude is basically taking screenshots and navigating that way. So if you move the page, it's going to take a screenshot and get lost. It's going to lose itself. So don't really touch anything, but that's okay, because now we can let this run in the background. So as this is running in the background, we can open up another terminal, and we'll launch Claude, and I can literally do multiple things at once now. So now while this is running, what I want to do is I want to come look at my landing page, all right, for my co-writing custom systems here, which you're looking at here. And maybe what I want to do is ask my co-writer, as my co-writer has access to everything about my business and writing, what I can do is ask it to, analyze this landing page, maybe find, what's working, what's not, what's making it converting. And if I'm missing any, important aspects of my system that are not being shown on this landing page. So on my landing page here, we have your own AI co-writer built for your business, apply now. We have the pricing or the features breakdown, some of this other stuff, which, side note, this landing page I built with my Claude Code as well. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use voice dictation to talk to Claude, and we'll say, take a look at my custom writing system or my custom co-writer landing page. Find out what makes it converting, what's working, what might not be working, and also go through our entire writing system here in our environment and see if I'm missing anything that would be worth including. We're going to tell it, use your Chrome extension. Always make sure to tell it to use your Chrome extension, and then drop the link as well. And now it's going to do the same thing. It should open this up in the tabs where Claude is accessing. And while that's running, we go back here, we can see that the first one that is analyzing my Substack notes is still running in the background. So before this video already started, I already did these same exact two. So we could take a look at what that output looked like, starting with the Substack notes. So the first thing I asked it to do, like you saw, was analyze my Substack notes. And you can see after it completed it, here on the right, what we got was an entire breakdown of my Substack notes, my last 10 notes. I have when it was published, the likes, the comments, the restacks. I have a breakdown of what's working, what's not working, patterns to double down on, patterns to avoid. And what you're not seeing also at the same time is that it's doing this all in the context of my entire system here to the left. So the co-writer, it's just one big system working together here. And then for the second task we asked it to do, which was analyze my landing page here, what we got was, let's take a look, scrolling down. This is how long it takes. These are all screenshots and actions it's doing in the browser. And now it gives me a landing page analysis of what's working well. It says the file structure visual at the top is brilliant. It immediately shows what they're getting. But we can see some opportunities here, like I'm missing price, which was purposeful, so that's okay. But what I am missing is testimonials and social proof. We're missing specific outcomes, urgency, and some other things there. So there, it's going to help us analyze landing pages. It's going to analyze landing pages and maybe show us some things we can do. And just to finish off, like I said, let's be honest, it's not super fast. This is not something that's going to be like zip, 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 doing a million things on Chrome for you. It's a background task tool, not a speed tool. So make sure to delegate tasks that are not really worth your time, that might be annoying to be doing, that are very straightforward, and delegate those to Claude Chrome, or use it as a visual analysis tool, or to help you basically do things where maybe an API is not available or there are no available tools, for example, Substack analytics. All right. So go try it out now, test it out. If you haven't checked out my Claude Code Masterclass for building your AI co-writer, check that out as well, because this just always, every new thing that comes out just builds on top of your co-writing system and supercharges it. Drop a comment below if you've used this, if you tried it out. Let me know how you're using it, and if you've discovered any cool ways of supercharging your systems with this new Chrome extension.